So, what you call social anxiety actually comes from a lifetime of trying to prove your parents' innocence. In the last two segments of this video, we were talking about how when you go through a lifetime of narcissistic abuse from your parents, meaning your parents have no ability to self-reflect, they aren't really analyzing what they're doing, and they're coming from a place of control, abuse, discipline that's dressed up as or like abuse dressed up as discipline. Like you know who you are, right? These parents who like mock you, make you feel little about yourself, only replace all your ideas with their ideas. So what you need to understand is that this abuse was happening at a very young age, right? Like you were very young when you were around your parents, 24/7, your mother. You literally had to suck off of her body to survive, right? This is literally how children have to how to live, right? And so as you're developing, um you're around these people and they are startling your nervous system all the time. They're scaring you. Why? Because they get pissed off about things that babies do. You pick at something, you do this, you move the wrong way. They're like, don't do that. Stop doing that. That's wrong. Ah, Elizabeth. You know what I mean? The whole thing, right? And so what happens is that this child is in a very interesting predicament. They are expecting to be protected and safe and nurtured and supported by the people around them because they literally need them to survive. But instead of getting that love and support, the child is now getting mixed signals. The child is now getting a lot of signals that are saying you are bad, you are this, and and basically the system, the signal that they're mainly getting is I am in danger, I am in danger, I am in danger, you are in danger, you are in danger. And so the child is kind of thrown off by this, right? Because imagine this, you're a 1 or 2 year old, you're literally just like around your parents and they're constantly triggering you. And you're like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, I don't know. You have nothing else to grab onto, literally nothing else. And so you're stuck in a predicament. You could either accept that reality is dangerous and run it straight into that and run away from your parents, or what most children do is that they have to deny reality and they accept that maybe what they think is reality isn't real, and they begin to believe that what is connected to them matters more than what actually exists in the world, right? So how does this happen? Because think about the implications of actually choosing to believe that your parents are evil or bad, right? Then that means that you have no safety in the world. You have no stability. You have nothing to lean on. You have no emotional support. You have no food. You have no survival. Your literal tiny human body will not allow you to choose that your whole reality is a lie and that it is dangerous to you. That is like literally you're not going to choose that. Because you also got to remember this isn't happening consciously as a child. You're just choosing this through your fear, your intentions. Like you can feel like you're just like, oh my god, I can't do that anymore. And that happens so many times, right? And so you just have to default to choosing to deny it, right? That is literally your only choice, right? You start to deny it. And guess what? These parents are so sadistic because they have been conditioned through a system that's designed to create these kind of people. And what it does is that they fuel this process. They instead, if they weren't fueling the process, you would naturally just be this child that had this strange attachment to the parent. Like, and the parent, and this is assuming the parent isn't abusing you, right? But you just have this, just happen to have this trauma, right? You just have this weird attachment to your parent. You have this almost devotion to them. But what they do in this situation with your narcissistic parent is that they fuel it, right? So your devotion turns into like almost like religion, like where you believe everything they say, you take everything they say as scripture, you become a mama's boy, mama's girl. Like you really want to please them, you really want to be on their side, you want their pride, you want this, because what you're doing is you're prioritizing their existence over your reality. Because by you doing that, you justify them. You make it seem like, oh, they're not that bad, right? And so you begin to build this alter ego version of yourself that serves them. Because that is easier than accepting the reality that you're unsafe and unsupported. Because at least with this fake pseudo reality, you feel supported and you feel like everything is right, right? Because it's almost as if you've been like a wife in denial. Like someone who gets cheated on and they have to like prove to themselves that no, my partner could never do that. No, that's not possible. No, 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 no. And they start like putting up pictures everywhere. They start like putting his phone. He puts his face as her background. She starts like touching on him more. She starts having more sex with him. She's like, nah, this is my boyfriend. Like he can never do that. Even though all the signs may point to that, she's gonna live in denial because if she were to face the fact that he's done that, that would emotionally damage her to a point where she doesn't know if she could recover. And this is why you feel like you can't recover from this. Because this process of like replacing your reality with symbols that reflect their innocence takes precedence over your life. And it starts very subtly, right? It may just be you just choose the things your parents want. But no, but eventually it turns into you believe everything they start to say. Every perception they give starts to feel more weight than any other perception in the world. And if anyone reminds you of your parents, you immediately project onto them and you feel the same attachment to them. And you feel this need to please them, or you feel this need to like have this weird attachment to them. It's different for a lot of people, but it's usually follows a particular pattern, right? And so as you get older and as you get older, your whole perception of reality is no longer coming from a first person perspective. Like, let me give you an example. If you didn't grow up with this kind of trauma, like what would actually happen is that you would perceive life in a much different way. You wouldn't have this level of like attachment to your parent. It wouldn't be like, I need you to connect to prove to me my existence. It wouldn't be like that. It would be very different. It would actually be from a place of like curiosity and openness, and more importantly consciousness. You'd be conscious of your parents, you'd be aware. As you grow older, you learn more about their contribution, you more about their understanding, but you wouldn't see them as these gods or deities that you need to worship, that you need to get behind. That is literally like you trying to cover up the fact that they're hurting you. You see how crazy that is? Like that level of OCD, that I need you, I need to please you, comes from this place of like, I want to prove to myself that you're good. It's crazy. It's very sad, right? And this is the base energy you're living in from the beginning of your life. And so this is why it's very hard for you to make friends, right? You can't make friends from this perspective. Because when you try to make a friend with someone, what's going to happen is that you're going to project any idea your parent tells you about them onto this person, and you're going to automatically believe it. And so if your parent says this person's bad, oh, you can't even think of this person as a good person anymore, right? You know, if your parent disapproves of anything, and they typically do because they're narcissistic, they take advantage of these kind of things. They feed off of it, like psychically, like psychic vampires. They just feed off of like the torment that you go through. It's really messed up, bro. And you gotta and if you want to say like, oh, they didn't know, they were just like, bro, they did this for 20 years, mind you. Like consciously, they were aware of it at some point. You know, like adults aren't really stupid. They're like a lot of them are stupid, but like a lot of them have many points in their life where they could wake up. They could look at things differently. Like, you know, maybe they move somewhere and now they have new friends, new this. Now they have a time to self-reflect. They never choose it though. A lot of them just stay in the game because it gives them power, and they can't perceive a reality outside of it. And more importantly, they also grew up in this system. So if you like fast forward, your life would become like your parents if you never woke up from this. If I never told you this, if no one ever told you this, right? You would just literally become them, because guess what? You would just replace reality, replace reality, replace reality, replace reality, until it gets to a point where your entire reality is just like a living image of your parents. And then when your parents are gone, you're just going to replace it with something else, right? And for you and for your parents, they replaced it with you. They were like, I have to devote my life to my child. Or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe they devoted to religion, right? It could have been that. Or it could have been a cult, or it could have been an ideology. It could have been a lot of different things. But whatever reflects those qualities or gives them that same feeling that the parent gave them, or reflects the idea of the parent, they will automatically flock to, right? So getting out of this is waking up to the reality that you can make your own perceptions about reality. And you have to recognize that everything you do has a little bit of like tilt in their direction, and become eerily aware of that. Like, are you looking, is that a television, or is that just a box with like a screen on it? If you see it as a television, why do you see it that way? Are you seeing it as a television that's owned by your father? Like, that's how children perceive things. Like, no, that's my daddy's thing. That's my dad. You see what I mean? Like, you're perceiving everything with a tilt to your parents, because that subtly validates their existence as good people, you know? So yeah, that's how you got to really go into it. It's going to be microscopic. It's going to be a shift, but hopefully this video reached you at the right time. If it did, definitely drop a donation, or definitely do whatever. I don't care what you do, man. But I hope you got the healing here. Check out Stan Store. Check out Immateria. Peace.